Okay, so this is our third video having to do with exam number 2, preparing for exam number 2. Okay, it's probably going to be called exam review number C. I called it the first two A and B. Here comes C. So I might as well put that as my heading here. First, before I start, let me get as much of the paper as I can by moving it downwards, if at all possible. Oh, just a little, it's hard to get it exactly where I want. There we go. Okay, now this is exam 2 review, but this is 2C. We're up to the third one. All right, so now we just talked before about symmetry in review B. I talked about symmetry. Go back to exam 2 review B about symmetry. Now you have to see, in order to understand what I'm talking about, you got to know about even and odd functions. Where is that? V21, even and odd functions, even and odd functions is video number 21 and 22. 21, there's two 21s, so one has a title, even and odd functions. It's very clear, it's on YouTube. And video, and the other one is V22. Those two. All right, after you've seen them, you'll understand, you'll know about even and odd functions. I got one more thing to tell you about symmetry, and even and odd functions have a connection. Here's the connection. If a function, you look at a graph, look at the graph, look at graph, look at graph. If it's symmetric to the origin, then just looking at the graph, you'll be able to tell then it is an odd function. Look at graph. That's one piece of piece of information number 1 I got to tell you. Piece of information number 2 I got to tell you. Look at graph. If it's, so just looking at the graph, you'll be able to tell if it's one of these two things. The next thing I got to tell you is this. If it's symmetric, or symmetrical, or symmetric, or symmetry is about y-axis to the y-axis, then it is an even function. That there's two ways of telling by just looking at the graph if either of these things happen. So very important. Okay, symmetric. This is supposed to be a T, and this is supposed to be an R. Sorry about that. Okay, next thing on the agenda to talk about. I need this paper going up now. I need more space. I need it going up. Here we go. Here's the next thing I got to tell you. Back to some more stuff that we need for exam number 2. Old material that you need for exam number 2. 1. Factor by grouping. Factor by grouping. Let me remind you how to do that so you can prepare for exam number 2, because it has some old material on it. What if you've got 10y squared plus 25y plus 2y plus 5. And you're supposed to factor by grouping. Here's what you do. You split it into 2. Hopefully this looks familiar. You split it into 2, and you get the LCD out of here. They both have y, so that's one of them. And the 10 and the 25, 5 goes into both. The biggest number that goes into both is 5. So 5y comes out of the that comes out of the, not the LCD, but the greatest common factor that comes out, the GCF. Okay, 10y squared divided by 5 is 5y is 2y. And 25y divided by 5y is just the plain 5 plus 5. You come over here and you notice that this is a 2y plus 5. That's great. So there's a match. There's a match. These two match. And what's in front of them? It's a 1. Don't forget, there's something in front of them. It's not a 0, it's a 1. So you take the 5y and the 1, you put them together, 5y plus 1. And you take one of these two copies, 2y plus 5, and here it is. That is the answer. It is factored. Answer is right there. Okay. Okay, let's get some more stuff on this piece of paper. There's no reason why we can't. What if you have, and this is going to be, I think you'll agree with me, this is an easy question. What if you have as follows? You have a graph, problem number 2. You have a graph. Here we go. Here's y. Here's x. Here is the 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's say 1, 2, 3, and 4. And here is 1 and 2. 1 and 2. And you have a graph that's going like this, and it's coming around, and it's going like this, and it is goes like that. And the question is find f of 2, right? So this is a graph. Let's call it f. So this is the graph. This is the stuff. That's a 1, 2, 3, 4. I know it doesn't look good. This is a 1, 2. What is f of 2? Find f of 2. So all you got to do is go along the x-axis, 1, 2, then go up and look right. It's right around here. And the answer is f of 2 is 3. Right? If you plug in 2 into the as an x value, what do you get as the y value? It's across from the 3. So the answer is 3. Simple as that. No big deal. That's all the question is. Didn't mean for it to be any more complicated than that. Okay, now I have a little bit more room on my paper. Somewhere. Right over here. I'm taking this right over here as a little bit more room on my paper, right here. I need you to check out video number 11. Video number 11. And if something is not a function, it's a relation. So don't get mixed up. If you see that word on the test, what a relation, if something is not, if you have is not a function, this is video 11. It has to do with video 11. Go see video 11. If something is not a function, then they call it a relation. It's called a relation. Where am I going to put that? I'm going to put that here. It's called a relation. Okay? And don't forget, the primary lesson in V11, video 11, so they'll call things functions and relations. Don't get mixed up. But we're normally looking for a function. How do you tell if something's a function? Don't forget, it's there in video 11. I'll tell you what it says. It says, don't forget, if the same x has 2 different y's, it's not a function. That's what kills the function. So go see video 11. And if you've seen it already, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And I just don't want you to get mixed up when they use the word relation on the test. that you get all flustered, you know what it means. If it's not a function, then they just call it a relation. That's it. That's the only piece of information extra you need. I'm not sure we need any more videos for the for exam 2, but I'm going to double check it. So far, we have 3. Okay, I'm ending this video on that note.